Good day, everyone. For today, we will talk about solving word problems involving linear functions. The objectives of this session are determine independent and dependent variables, identify the constant change, write the linear function of the problem, and solve problems involving linear functions. Let us have a recall first. Independent variables are the causes because they can stand alone, while those in the effects are the dependent variables because it can happen if a certain cause has occurred. Sa ating previous video, na-discuss natin kung ano ang difference ng independent at dependent variables. So, kagaya lang siya sa science, ang independent ay yung tinatawag nating cause. Pag sinabi namang dependent variables, ito naman po yung mga effects. Okay. Function means the dependent variable is determined by the independent variable or variables. The independent variable is denoted by x, while the dependent variable is often designated by y. Ibig pong sabihin, pag sasabi natin na function po ang isang relation kapag meron tayo na produce na dependent variable dahil kay independent variable. Si independent, siya po yung mga values na nasa x, tapos si dependent naman po ay yung mga values na nasa y. We say y is a function of x. This means y depends on or is determined by x. So, we can say that it is a function if yung value kay y ay denoted by or determined by x. Kung meron tayong relationship from x to y, meron tayong function. So here are the steps in solving word problems involving linear functions. First, we have to identify the independent and dependent variables. Second, create a table representing the values. Third, identify the constant change in time. Fourth, using the constant change, determine the next possible values. And then write the linear function representing the problem. So since this is all about linear functions, kailangan meron tayong linear function na mapoproduce at the end. Okay, let's start. Let's have this example. A high school had 1,200 students enrolled in 2003. So, noong 2003 daw, meron daw tayong 1,200 students na naka-enroll. And 1,500 students in 2006. So, after 3 years, naging from 1,200, naging 1,500 na yung students. If the student population S grows as a linear function of time t, where t is the number of years after 2003, so since ito ay linear function, gagamit tayo ng variables na kung saan, pag sinabi po nating S, ito po yung student population. Pag sinabi namang t, ito po yung time. Okay, so where t is the number of years after 2003, how many students will be enrolled in the school in 2010? Find the linear function that relates the student population to the time t. So, para masagot po ito, we have to use or follow the steps that we provided a while ago. Step 1. Identify the independent and dependent variable. So, paano natin malalaman kung sino si independent at dependent variable? Mandali lang yan. Mostly, ginagamit po ang time to represent the independent variables. Kasi when I say time, consistent naman po yung takbo ng oras. Whereas kapag dependent variables naman, ito yung number of persons or objects na meron tayo. Kasi dumedepende siya doon sa certain year, kung anong year na. Okay? So, in our given, ito po ang ating independent and dependent variables. Si independent, nandun yung time. So, ang given sa atin ay year. Si dependent variables naman, number of students, kasi ito, nagbabago-bago, pero in a certain constant change naman. Pero this, since siya ay dependent, ibig sabihin, yung number of students enrolled ay dumedepende kung anong taon meron. Okay? Step number 2, create a table representing the values. So, using the columns for year and the number of students, we have here 2003. Nung 2003, meron tayong 1,200. Nung 2006, meron tayong 1,500. And then, nung 2010, ito po yung kailangan nating ma-identify. Step number 3, identify the constant change in time. So, ang gagawin mo lang dyan, di ba may years ka? Kunin mo yung mas recent na year, which is 2006. Ileles mo siya doon sa previous year na given. So, 2006 minus 2003, meron kang 3 years na gap. After mong ma-identify yung constant change sa independent variable, proceed ka naman sa constant change doon sa dependent variable. So, meron tayong ganun lang din. Nung 2006, meron tayong 1,500 students. Nung 2003, meron tayong 1,200. So, hanapin mo lang yung gap between these two, meron kang 300 students. Now, ano naman ang gagawin mo sa 3 years at sa 300 students? To determine the number of students per year, kasi yun yung kailangan nating ma-identify, you have to divide the number of students by the number of years. So, that will be 300 students divided by 3 years, meron kang 100 students per year. So, meaning to say, nagkakaroon ng constant change na 100 students ang nadadagdag kada taon. Okay? So, therefore, there is a constant change of 100 students per year. So, with this, we'll proceed to step 4 na. Using the constant change, determine the next possible values. So, ito po yung table natin kanina. Noong 2003, ang number of students ay 1,200. Noong 2006, 1,500. So, kung bibilangin natin yan, ang after ng 2003 ay 2004. At ang sabi, may 100 students daw na nadadagdag kada taon. So, sa taong 2004, meron tayong 1,300 students na. Kasi nadagdagan ng 100 yung 1,200. Pagdating ng 2005, madadagdagan ulit ng 100. So, magiging 1,400 na. Pagdating na ng 2006, madadagdagan yung 1,400 ng 100 students. So, naging 1,500. Now, with that constant change, identify na natin kung ilan pagdating ng 2010. Ano po sa tingin nyo? Tama. 1,900 students po. So, with the help of linear function na may constant change, ma-identify natin kung ano yung mga possible values in the future. Step number 5. Write the linear function representing the problem. Ito na po siya. So, since ito ay linear function, gagamit tayo ng f of x or function of x is equal to, for the first term, ito yung buong first term, kasi ito yung plus na natin. So ating first term, ilalagay mo muna si constant change. Nung nakuha natin constant change kanina, di ba, ay 100. Tapos, lalagay mo lang yung variable t, kasi po, ito ay time. Then, initial number of persons or objects. So, sa ating sagot kanina, function, di ba meron tayong student kanina, number of students. So, yun yung magiging S na natin. Ang ibig sabihin yan, ilang number of students ang meron sa certain time na given. So, is equal to, our constant change is 100. Ito yung na-compute natin kanina. Followed by variable t or kung ano mang time meron. Then plus, and then initial number of objects or persons. Initial meaning, ito po yung unang-unang number or bilang ng mga estudyante kanina doon sa ating table kanina. So, itong 1,200, ito po yung bilang ng students kanina nung taong 2003. So, ito yung magiging linear function na po natin. Okay? So, gamitin natin itong linear function para ma-identify kung tama ba yung pagkakagawa natin. Okay. So, nung year 2003, since wala pang period na natatapos, ang time natin ay 0. Okay? What if ang year ay 2004 na? Siyempre, nadagdagan na ng isang taon. So, ang time natin ay 1. Kung gagamitin natin yung ating formula, tingnan natin kung tama yung magiging sagot natin. if your t is equal to 1, yung t dito, papalit na natin ng 1. At yung t dito, nakatabi ng 100, i-multiply. Okay? Our t is 1, so 100 times 1, then plus 1,200. Solve lang natin yung part na to. 100 times 1 is 100 plus 1,200. Ang sagot dito ay 1,300 students in 2004. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, 1 year after ng 2003, which is 2004, there will be 100 or 1,300 students. So let us now try to verify if our answer is correct for 2010. Ang sagot natin doon ay 1,900 students. So yun naman yung gagamitin natin. Again, our year 2003 has t equals 0 kasi wala pang period na natatapos. Pagdating ng year 2010, ang t ay 7. Bakit? Kasi 0 para kay 2003, 1 para kay 2004, 2 para kay 2005, 3 para kay 2006, 4 para kay 2007, 5 para kay 2008, 6 para kay 2009, 7 para kay 2010. So, there will be 7 years after 2003. So, same linear function will be used, pero ang t natin dito ay 7 na kasi 7 years after ng 2003. So, yung t dito, papalitan natin ng 7, tapos yung 100, yung multiply natin by 7. So, ito na siya. Multiply lang itong part na to bago tayo mag-a-add mamaya. So, 100 multiplied by 7 is 700. 700 plus 1,200 is 1,900 students in 2010. So, ito lang yung magiging topic natin for today. Do not forget to visit my channel, Math Tutorials. And do not forget to click the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you!